Welcome to the webinar on automating cloud security on Microsoft Azure Cloud. My name is Russ Schaefer from Raxak, a leader in cloud security compliance and a Gartner Cool Vendor in IT automation for 2016. What I'm going to cover today is tell you a little bit about what we see are the key cloud trends and solutions for security. Talk about the Raxak Protect security compliance platform, show you how it protects your workloads on Microsoft Azure, and then summarize. So what's happening in the cloud today? Obviously, the cloud is an attractive on-demand resource for IT infrastructure. The challenge has really been security management. So a lot of companies in regulated industries such as finance, healthcare, retail, telecom, and others that have consumer data or important intellectual property are hesitant to move to the cloud. So they really want to leverage the flexibility and cost advantages, but at this point, they haven't found a reliable security solution to enable them to do that while also maintaining compliance with the regulations they have to be compliant with. They'd like to move workloads to the cloud where they can get lower CapEx and OpEx and kind of balance what workloads they have on premise in their data center and which ones they have in the public cloud. Enterprises really need to protect a variety of things, but mainly they need to protect the data that they have that relates to consumers, financial information, or intellectual property. And they have a lot of different regulations that keep them in line with protecting that data, including things like the payment card industry digital security standard for payment card transactions and the consumer data that gets transferred back and forth. On-premise IT security solutions, which have been around for a while, don't really scale to the cloud. In the virtual environment, you'll have potentially hundreds of thousands of virtual machines, and when you move to containers, that could be in the hundreds of thousands to millions of containers. And the solutions that are built for just taking care of a data center or multiple data centers on premise don't really scale to that kind of environment. A lot of the manual security compliance methods that a lot of companies are still using today because they can get by with it are slow, error prone, and really impact their ability to innovate. Because they have to do it on a manual basis, sometimes it slows down the development process so they can add new innovative features to their applications because they have to make sure to stop and determine if they're compliant and then change things if they're not. So enterprises really need an automated compliance solution to prevent security failures and to cost effectively leverage the cloud. So let's look at the use case of many companies, most likely like yours, and how they're dealing with the fact that the cloud is really attractive. Sort of line of business entities within their companies are very interested. So the CIO has to deal with the challenge of how do I support the rapid nature of development in the business environment with use of the IT resources that are out there today and satisfy the business units' need to move as fast as the cloud enables them to move. So in this case, it's a medium-sized insurance company. The CIO has multiple lines of business to support. And the lines of business believe that, could be one of the business units, could be casualty insurance, for example, inside the insurance company, believes that the on-prem the resources that are provided are expensive and slow. And so they decide to start dabbling and trying the public cloud to see if they can move at the speed their business needs to move. Competition is fierce. They need to keep up with the competition and develop new and innovative applications, and the public cloud enables them to do that a lot faster. In this situation, the developers are responsible for securing the public cloud. The CIO has no control because they're, in a sense, doing this outside the band of the IT department. The developers most likely use expensive security compliance methods that are going to leave some holes and some exposure to potential security breaches. And of course, they'll impact their own innovation by having to apply manual methods, for example, which in some cases may not, which again will leave them exposed. So the CEO is still holding the CIO responsible for providing IT resources in a way that the business units can keep up with their competition and make sure security is maintained. So what do? Well, Cloud Raxak provides an automated solution that takes care of this whole challenge. It simplifies cloud security across all environments. So the CIO can basically take the same security posture that they have for the data center on-prem and move it to a private cloud or a public cloud and automate the whole process. Traditional IT could be supported just like they do today. Again, it'll scale with all the different clouds that are out there today. So private clouds, for example, from VMware, OpenStack, HP Helion, and public clouds from Microsoft Azure, which we're going to talk about in detail today, Amazon Web Services, IBM Cloud, Rackspace, and others. The security platform from Cloud Raxak is available as an agentless SaaS and security appliance. So if you need something on-premise, you can have an on-premise appliance that's self-contained, provides the same security capability as you have in the private cloud and the public cloud. As I mentioned, Cloud Raxak is a 2016 Gartner Cool Vendor Award winner in IT automation because of the way we've automated this whole process. Our key partners include IBM, Google, HP, Intel, and of course we support all public and private cloud platforms. So Cloud Raxak basically enables enterprises to securely move to the cloud. Now today they can take advantage of all the different CapEx and OpEx cost reductions they can get with the cloud by using a unified security capability through Raxak Protect. Now they can have the same security posture across all their different IT choices. This will lower their OpEx costs by decreasing security compliance 40 to 60%. Why? Because you can automate 95% of the security settings and decrease your errors and time spent on securing your virtual resources. This again can reduce your security compliance costs at least 40% and up to 60% or even higher. Because you're able to get broader coverage, because you're using automation, you can actually reduce your security risk at the same time and automate regulatory compliance. You can take the specifications for something like the payment card industry digital security standard, automate that process of applying those, and then get audit reports you can give to your auditor at any point in time, on demand, every day, every week, every quarter, whatever is needed to satisfy your auditors. This will basically provide you an ability at any point in time to provide your board or any other entity that needs to know your risk posture or your compliance posture by enabling you to do real-time monitoring and reporting. And of course, because we keep track of what's going on, we can also enable your DevOps department to keep up with the speed of the cloud without letting security inhibit their progress. So now we can automatically monitor any changes in a security posture or profile, automatically mediate those, so your development operations continue going at the speed of the cloud, and then lock it down to where it needs to be for production so you can reduce risk and protect yourself from any security breaches. So let's take a closer look at how the platform works. If you look on the left-hand side, you'll see the standard security best practices that I mentioned before, like the payment card industry digital security standard. You define a profile that's defined by the CISO. It can be customized to each individual company, but usually it reflects the standards that are out there today. We use the Defense Information Security Agency standard as the baseline. They have a mission critical profile. That's about as stringent as you can get. And then we modify that based upon whatever's needed for a particular industry, such as retail, such as finance, such as healthcare. Second is we automatically enroll those assets, applying that profile in the Raxak Protect service. We examine the current state, and then we enforce that profile and remediate any changes that need to be made to that VM. And then we report and retain all changes and activities that happen throughout the entire life cycle of that virtual machine. Again, we do the same kind of capability across traditional IT, private clouds, and public clouds. So how does that work to the two different groups we talked about earlier? So first, from an end user perspective, they're going to go in and just pick the virtual machine they need. So if the marketing department wants to create a loyalty application in the cloud for the Christmas season, they can get on the cloud, apply the same profiles that we get in the data center, quickly run that application up, use it for a few months, and then eliminate that application. all during that time period, the security of that information and the data is taken care of automatically by Raxak Protect. It takes the PCI DSS profile or other profiles that need to be applied, automates the application of that, enabling you to check it every hour if need be, every day, whatever is required to make you feel comfortable that everything is taken care of. For developers, we integrate the security right into the development of the application from the time of creation of the virtual machine to the time that machine is pushed into production. So developers don't have to worry about security and how it's applied. All they do is select the type of application, the type of machine they need to use, and then we automatically tag and connect a security profile. It lives with the code, migrates with it through the development process until you get to production, and you can apply a completely different profile if need be to make it more stringent for production. And that's all, again, automated. Developers don't have to worry about that. It allows them to operate at their own speed. In the middle there, you'll see our Raxak Protect system operates the same way no matter what the entry point is from what type of user. And on the right-hand side, you'll see all the different types of IT environments we support, from traditional IT at the bottom to private clouds to public clouds. Now I'm going to take you through an example of how it works with Microsoft Azure. Now the first start of the process, as I mentioned, the CISO has actually created a set of images that have the security profile attached to them. So in this case, you've got 3 different security profiles. The DISA Mission Critical Classified Profile I mentioned, which is from the Defense Department, the most stringent profile you can get. The Payment Card Industry Digital Security Standard, which is PCI DSS, is the second one. And then a DevOps, which is kind of the most flexible development environment you can give your developers so they don't have to worry during the development process about security being too stringent. They can move at the speed of the cloud. Next, you basically pick the type of virtual machine configuration, such as size, whatever is needed for the particular development environment that you're building the application, and what you need in production. Then you actually create that virtual machine, provide additional configuration information, and then you're live and running. That is the end of the end user process. As you can see, everything was automated. The application, the connection of the security profile to the type of machine the user selected, all they did was pick the size. Then we automatically enrolled that in Raxak Protect. And now that virtual machine is protected from its beginning till its end of life. Now let's take a look at the sysadmin console so you can see behind the scenes what actually was happening. So see here, basically we've enrolled that server, again, automated process. And you'll see specifically that this server is up and running. Now you can check the details and find out what's going on. You'll see that we, in this case, applied the DISA Mission Critical Classified Profile, again from the Defense Department, the most stringent profile you can apply. And we keep this updated. So anytime this changes, the service is provided and updated. So if there's a big change in the profile from the Defense Department, you automatically get that benefit. You don't have to worry about that. Again, that's part of the fact that it's a SaaS service, automatically updated. Everything is flowed through, again, if you want it to be. If you don't want it to be, we can hold that back. But in most cases, everybody wants the best, most recent security protection available. So here they've actually applied all the rules, all of them passed, and now your system is protected with the most stringent profile out there today. Now you can go in and basically provide your auditor a report that tells exactly what happened and how this machine was protected. You'll see the profile that was applied here and the actual passing of all the rules. Again, audit ready, ready to go, on demand, available whenever you need it. Now what if we showed you where our service is not available? So this is an example of a manual configuration where we're actually going to show you how we take you through the process of what we do automated and remediating all the rules against a standard off-the-shelf VM. You'll see if a customer, an end user from your company, went to Microsoft and took one of their standard virtual machines and applied the mission critical classified profile, this is what would come back. 174 of the rules would fail out of 244. You see, that's a large amount. That is not unusual. For any public cloud out there today, whether it's Amazon, Microsoft, Google, IBM software, all of them are basically made to be generic virtual machines. They don't know exactly what security profile you want to apply. So they basically give you the basic capability, and it's your responsibility. As Gartner pointed out, Jay Heiser said it's the customer's responsibility to manage their own security on top of a public cloud. It's a shared responsibility model, and the user has to take care of that. By using the Raxak Protect service, we take care of that for you. But here, let me show you how we actually apply those rules and take you through some of the different things that we're actually protecting you and configuring for you. In this case, we'll look at the failed rules. Why did they fail? And what kind of rules are we talking about here? So in this case, we'll look at rule number 56025. That's the maximum number of authentication attempts permitted per connection must be set to 4 or less. In this case, it's set for 6. You'll see we're able to sort all the rules that failed and which ones are the highest priority. So you can go in and remediate those. Again, this is an example. If we didn't apply the profile automatically, for your situation, we should be able to do this automatically. And all users shouldn't be seeing this, but this is just, again, to show you an example of how it normally works and what we do behind the scenes. You'll see there's a button to remediate it, and you actually look a little bit further into what this rule was set up for and why it didn't work. So you'll see the description for the rule and what is needed to fix it. So it'll tell you not only what the rule is, what it should be, but also how we're going to fix it. So if you need all the information, it's provided. And right now, we're actually going to go in, we're going to click remediate. And now you'll see the rule has been fixed. So let's go back into the reporting function to make sure it actually was fixed. So you'll see now here, we actually have the rule. We center it at the top, and you'll see that rule 56025 has now been successfully remediated. Now I want to be able to actually generate a report that shows the same thing. So I go into the reporting function right here. Select an executive summary report. And you'll see before it was 174 rules failed. Now you have 173. And the rule has been fixed. Now you can also do something really neat, which is actually do a difference report. So this will actually show you the difference between the automated system and the manual remediation. You'll see basically all the ones that actually failed and how normally in a situation you'll get into by signing up for a service, we take care of everything automatically. But now you've actually seen how we do it behind the scenes and the value we provide you by automating that whole process. Imagine trying to do that all manually. It'd be very difficult. So in summary, Raxak Protect simplifies and automates cloud security compliance across any traditional IT deployment, public clouds, and private clouds, including the example we showed you for the public cloud, Microsoft Azure. We enable you to provide the most stringent security profiles available, including the defense industry STIGs that I showed you in the example on Microsoft. Also, you can apply HIPAA or FFIEC or PCI DSS, which I also mentioned in the demonstration. Second is you can provide the ability to enable 24/7 monitoring and reporting. Auto remediation, which I showed you in the first example of the demo. And of course, manual remediation if you want to be able to take a look at each different rule and remediate yourself. Auto reporting, so you in essence can provide reports to auditor at any point in time to your board, to anybody who cares what the current security situation is with your virtual machines. This can scale to 10 virtual machines to hundreds of thousands of virtual machines, a very scalable platform. Third thing is we provide consistent compliance across all IT infrastructures. I mentioned, and clouds. So traditional IT versus private clouds like VMware, like OpenStack, like HP Helion, public clouds like Microsoft Azure, the example I showed you, Amazon Web Services, IBM Cloud, Rackspace, Google Cloud. You select it, it should work. And the last thing I mentioned is around scalability. It's an agentless system. So the presence of our code inside your system is all based upon how frequently you have us checking it. If it's every hour, go in, do the work, and get out within minutes. Versus an agent system where it actually sits there on your and your application stays there. You have to worry about how it interacts with the different things you might change, as well as it might get infected itself. So that's why an agentless approach is much better for your security. It's API driven, so we can actually connect all the different things that are going on into your change control system, into your entire IT monitoring system. Anything that Raxak Protect tracks can be pumped into any of the other tracking systems that you have. So if you want to have change control for any remediation, you can create a trouble ticket right out of our applications by connecting into yours through our APIs. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it can be a SaaS system as a service, always keeping you updated with the latest standards. Of course, we're going to apply that same capability in an on-premise appliance. It supports both virtual and bare metal resources. So the benefits to you. So Cloud Raxak can accelerate your cloud adoption, enable you to take advantage of all the things you like about the cloud. This should enable you to reduce your CapEx and OpEx by securely moving on-premise workloads to any private or public cloud. You select where they should be, where is the most optimal location for them. We can reduce your OpEx expenses for cloud security compliance by 40 to 60%. Because we provide you broader coverage, applying the most stringent security profiles, we can decrease your security risk by continuously identifying and remediating automatically any vulnerabilities. We can provide auditors on-demand evidence of regulatory compliance for any of the standards you're interested in being compliant with that are required by your industry or by the government. By integrating into DevOps, we can keep your DevOps team moving as fast as the cloud. So compliance is taken care of, it's automated, they don't have to worry about it, it's integrated automatically and lives with the code and stays with it until end of life. The last thing we didn't talk about in great detail was the ability to, in case we have bare metal machines, in environments like on-premise, or the IBM Cloud, or HP Helion, they all provide bare metal access. They enable geotagging of workloads. So if you're a bank or financial institution or any other company that has to have understanding of where actual data is residing and where it's being run, this enables you to geotag and know exactly which location, down to the server, down to the rack of where the actual workload is running. In addition, if you have to maintain a set of locations that it can be run, you can actually create a geofence. So only that data can be resided and run in that location. So two capabilities where it's available, we can enable that as well. Again, a unique capability that Cloud Raxak provides. I want to thank you for attending today's webinar on automating security compliance on Microsoft Azure Cloud. For more information, please go to cloudraxak.com/resources for other webinars, helpful guides, tips, presentations, and other helpful information to enable you to automate security compliance in your environment. Thank you very much.